That's how it is. This puppy off.
Wow. I'm sorry that
Do you know who Gendon Chappelle was? Gendon Chappelle? Ring bell?
Yeah.
Do you know him? Gendon Chappelle? Madman's Middle Way? That's like the most famous book. He was, he died in 1950 or something. And just an interesting dude, a scholar who went on a trip to India. He was Tibetan, and he went on a trip to India, and he stayed for 12 years in India. And a lot of weird stuff happened. She happens to be reading right now Anne Morrow Lindbergh's Gift from the Sea. You know that? Come on, you guys. You know it. Gift from the Sea. Gift from the Sea. You too. That's a great book. A beautiful book. Anyway, Anne Morrow Lindbergh married to Charles Lindbergh, aviator guy. They were both. Was she also a plane flyer? I don't know. Anyway, they met Gendon Chappelle, and there was a dinner in India in like 1937. Theos Bernard. No. You know Theos Bernard, right? Theos Bernard and Gendon Chappelle and another important Tibetan, political Tibetan, I don't remember that person's name, and the Lindberghs all at the same dinner. Kind of cool. I saw it in a book, and the guy said, someone should write a play about this evening's dinner. Well, I actually would make a cool thing. Anyway, those are just names if you're interested in cool stuff. Gendon Chappelle was cool. Theos Bernard's super cool. Theos Bernard was, welcome everyone down there. And welcome to you guys. I'll talk about Theos Bernard a little bit later. But it's time to get started. Here we are. We're here in Clear Light Yoga Studio, thanks to Ricky and Dana, the owners. Appreciate it. And we got a pretty good turnout. Welcome. This is a really good turnout, yeah? I mean, you're here, so it's always good, right? You and your socks. Your socks. Be here now. Be now here. I stole that. Let's be here. Just let go. Be present. Let the past be the past. Whatever happened, it brought you to this moment. And let the future be some other time. It never gets to be the future, so you can let go of that too. And in this moment, just relax. Be present. Meditation is all about letting go. And allow a sense of gratitude to percolate up. Unless it happens automatically, you have to give rise to it. You have to think, I am very fortunate. I get to meditate. Wow, I could be having to do things like be in jail. But you're not. You're here meditating. How awesome is that? Right? You're not working. You're not doing raking, whatever. You are here to practice being present and being joyously present at that. Awesome. So allow a sense of gratitude to arise. And if it doesn't come naturally, then give rise to the thought, wow, I am so fortunate. And then right in the middle of that feeling of great joy, think, I am going to practice meditation. I'm going to take steps along my own spiritual path, not just for myself, but for all beings without a single exception. In fact, think of someone you really dislike. I can think of someone. Very easy. And think, give rise to this thought. I'm going to practice being at peace for the benefit of that person. This stretches our heart a little bit. Bodhicitta is about everybody. It's not just about the people we like, right? It's about all beings. If you have trouble with, compassion, bodhicitta, then it's good to practice with animals, because everybody loves animals, right? I love animals. We had 2 white-breasted nuthatches on the tree just yesterday, or 2 days ago, recently. I like birds. Easy to feel compassion for birds and love for birds. It comes naturally, right? We went to the zoo last weekend. Actually, we went to the zoo. It We became members because Ricky recommended it, or he recommended the zoo. Hadn't been there in ages. We had fun. It was cool. Did you guys go to the place where you can buy a little cup of whatever that is, and then the birds land on you and they all drink out of the cup? All these multicolored birds. Oh my gosh, Rosemary, I really like that. Very cool. I don't know what kind of birds they were, but there were tons of them, and they were super friendly. They were like all over you. Cool. Yeah. Anyway, you can practice with animals, right? And then you can spread that out to other humans. Most humans hate most humans. That's just how it is. And then you can spread that even further to the people who you have disagreeable feelings toward. Everybody in the world is on the same side of the table. We all want the same thing. We want happiness. We want freedom. We want peace. Our ideas about how to get that can be pretty confused, right? Some have like really messed up ideas, and some have really clear ideas. Welcome. Perfect timing. Whenever you arrive, it's exactly the right time. Anyway. But we all want the same thing, and that's important to remember. It's said in the teachings that wanting happiness for oneself brings only suffering. But wanting happiness for all beings is the path to happiness. Wanting happiness for others is the way that you gain happiness. So, when we meditate and when we do anything, when you're cutting up the vegetables for your dinner, you can think, I'm going to make this dinner for the good of everybody. May all beings eat well. This kind of thought can be very, very powerful. So again, give rise to this thought. I am going to practice being at peace, and I'm not just doing it for myself, but for everybody, all beings. Not all animals, though, are easy to have compassion for. I was reading Rob Schulthe's Bone Games, Hidden West. No? Bone Games, good book. Both of those are great books. Anyway, he's talking about a trek he did in Nepal, and he went trekking in the monsoon season, which is not a good idea. And there were these giant leeches. They're only this long, but then they can stretch out like this far and come questing for you. Hard to have compassion for those green leeches. I remember when I was in Nepal one time, there was a guy sleeping in a tent at the hermitage of my teacher. And he said he came in looking kind of like freaked out or something. And I said, are you all right? And he said, yeah, when I got up this morning, there was a leech hanging down from the thing, like right over my face. Leeches are a little hard to have compassion for. So you can stretch your compassion that way too, if you want. Broaden our view. It's said that the mind of all the Buddhas is like vast open sky, while the mind of a regular sentient being is like a tent peg hole. You see the difference. So what are we doing? Expand our mind. If you're new to our little online group, everybody here is a seasoned meditator. The power of meditating together is that we can vibe off each other. Kind of California there, but it's true. Dan has been practicing continuously. Ricky's been practicing continuously. Most of these people, they practice all the time. So I can just feed off of their samadhi, right? I just tune in to how it feels. And the cool thing about digital communication is you can do it through there also. So just tune into this feeling of openness, letting go, letting be. My friend Kungadawa, he co-translated, I guess, the sadhana of Mahamudra with Chogyam Trungpa Rinpoche, if you're familiar with that. He did 4 years of retreat in New Mexico. His death anniversary was just the other day. And he told me something, I mentioned it a few weeks ago, but I think it's worth repeating. I was down there visiting him in his retreat. He had a loose period in his retreat. I went down to visit. We were talking. I said, how is it really to be down here? How is it to be in retreat all these years? You're here doing nothing, middle of nowhere. Tres Piedras. It's a place with a lot of criminals. It's a good place to get away from it all. And he said, he kind of thought about it. He kind of felt into it, apparently. And he said, you know what it's like? It's like this. Relaxing, the grabbing mind, the grabbing hand. And just like if I'm holding this knife, if I relax my hand, what happens? The knife falls away. Everything falls away. And that is part of the meditation. It's not focusing on one thing and excluding everything else. It's letting go, letting be, while not falling into a state of kind of undercurrent thoughts or traveling in your mind. Staying totally present, but relaxing, letting that hand open, letting be. So from now until you attain complete perfect enlightenment, just stay in that state. And you'll go really quickly. That'd be pretty awesome. I mean, that's all it takes. Say there are 3 types of people, right? The Chikchar, the Togalpa, and the gradualists. Chikchar, like instantaneous type. You just say, hey, just let go, let be. And they're like, boom, they stay in that state forever. The previous incarnation of my guru's uncle was that kind of person. He was just in this temple. He was a little kid. He had been recognized as kind of a Tulku, a reincarnated Lama. And he was just playing around this temple. He was maybe like 8 years old or 9 years old, just making trouble. And one of the monks there was like, hey, you're supposed to be a Tulku. Don't do that. You should control your mind. And he said, what does it mean to control your mind? He's kind of like one of those flippant, annoying children. And the guy was like, look into your mind. And right then he did it. He was like, and he said his realization never changed for the rest of his life. Lived to be an old man. That's a Chikchar, an instantaneous type. Very few, very rare. Then there's most Westerners I've met were the jumping around type. In Tibetan they call it Togalpa. You go here, you go there. You suddenly have great insight and then you fall back down and become worse than ordinary. Right? We're just jumping around. And then they're the gradualists. They get some instruction, they practice, they make a little level change. Then they get some instruction, they practice, they make a little level change. Not moving up and down too much. I myself am the middle type. I can't seem to get it together. Maybe you're the middle type. Whatever the case is, being open, being spacious, tuning in, and remembering. You have to keep this little rememberer around. Eventually becomes unnecessary, but for us now, you have to keep that little friend. So when we get lost in our thoughts, when we go out to objects and start tracing their outline, being lost, then we can remember, oh yeah, and let go. Come back to this moment, let be. That lasts a little while, then you get distracted. The key thing is remembering, reminding yourself. Drenpa, in Tibetan they call it Drenpa, means mindfulness is the translation usually, but it means like paying attentionness, kind of. You're kind of paying attention. For infinite lifetimes, according to those Buddhists, we've been grabbing the world with our mental hands. If we like it, we try to hold on to it. If we don't like it, we throw it away. And if it's not important to us, we just ignore it totally. And these 3 activities are painful. Now we're trying to learn a new way of being. Letting go, being spacious. It's kind of like relaxing. You do have to relax. But you have to mix that with paying attention. Come more and more into this very instant. Put your hands like this. Clap your hands together. Rub them together until they get really warm. The end of the day. And now, rub your face a little bit. I'm avoiding that spot, baby. And then relax. Meditation is like having a new you, a new way of being, a fresh you, a childlike you. Not being as bogged down with the backpack of all of your habits, right? Letting that go and seeing how is it to be fresh and young and new and clean of that. Normally we think if I'm relaxed, if this is relaxed and this is paying attention, they're kind of opposites, right? It's like a teeter-totter. If I'm very relaxed, then I'm not paying attention very much. I'm like out of it, kind of. Here we have to be paying great attention, but totally relaxed. So we have to somehow get another kind of seesaw going on, where we can be completely relaxed, but not drowsing off and having thoughts and just, that's a little bit hard to do at the end of the day. So rouse your wakefulness. I've been thinking quite a lot about longevity. And why? Because there was an article someone sent me, my brother sent me actually, in the Wall Street Journal, $26 billion project in Russia. Putin is putting $26 billion toward longevity research. Everything, I told about this before. Everything from like growing replacement organs inside of these mini pigs. Nasty. Doing all kinds of gross stuff and weird stuff, you know. Some cool stuff like peptide research, but many other things. And I guess that Putin himself is really into, it's like cryogenic therapy, you know, where you stand in the thing and it's like 170 degrees below zero. You got to get one of these. He's got an infrared sauna, so you need this thing too. Then we could be freezing and hot. Like, that'd be awesome. Anyway, he's like into this. I've heard this too. You know who else is into it is that super tall guy who's Mr. Positive Thinking, Anthony Robbins. He's also, I heard him talk about this too. Anyway, point is, the Russians are spending a lot of money on longevity. Okay, got it. But we have this opportunity to actually experience what is beyond longevity. What's beyond longevity? Huh? Infinite, right? What do you call that? Immortality, right? Like the Taoist masters of old, they attained the jade body. Their body's not to deteriorate, right? They found the philosopher's stone. Whatever, they don't die. They're immortal, right? The immortals. They live on the Taoist Mount Olympus, I guess. When we meditate, we actually have an opportunity to touch that kind of immortality, because that immortality is outside of time, right? Longevity is just extending the present to keep going and going and going, which, I don't know, it doesn't sound that awesome to me, but maybe some people are into it. That's cool. What we really want is just healthy dead, not, oh, gee, right? And then coasting along at the bottom, barely alive. That's no fun. It'll be good dead. But when we meditate, we're talking about the fourth time, right? Stepping out of the past, present, and future. We talked about this before, but I thought, wow, that's an interesting idea to, think about all this. We all want to live for a long time. People are taking Shilajit. People are doing whatever, right? To try to extend their lifespan. We're going to do two things tonight that are directly associated with this. We're going to do some yoga, and we're going to do some immortality practice. So get ready to love it. Past, gone. It's like if you see the screen right here, you can't see my hand. Past over here, it's gone. You can't do anything about 5 minutes ago. You can't do anything about 1856. Right? gone, really gone. It only exists in memories. And even if we think, like there are a bunch of people here, I almost try to count, I can't count that high, the memories that we all have about yesterday, if I say like, what happened yesterday? You would say what happened, and I would say what happened. It might as well be different universes, right? I mean, there'd be a little crossover. I got up, and you probably also got up, right? There were some things that happened, but in general, totally different. Same for everybody here. Past, only memories, right? Some good, some not so good, some full of feelings. So when you think of them, you get like a fast beating heart, or like you feel longing, or nostalgia, or sadness, or happiness, whatever. Well, whatever the case is, he's gone. So when we meditate, which means when we live, because you should be meditating all the time from now on. There's never a time. So Origin used to say, you can even meditate when you're taking a poop. So it's okay. If you can meditate when you're pooping, then you can meditate anytime. So never a time you shouldn't be meditating. For us, meditating just means relaxing, letting go of all of our fixations and coming to this instant. As long as we don't think about the past, since it only exists as memories, it doesn't exist. We don't have to worry about it. Don't drag up the past. Same thing with the future. Don't project too hard. Future just made out of hope and fear. Hope and fear, right? And for most people, myself totally included, it's mostly made out of fear. It's not made out of too much hope. There's little hope, especially these days. Woo! It's made out of a lot of fear. A little tiny bit of hope. Come on, human race. Generally, it's made like 90% fear. Just kidding. Not kidding at all. What's that movie with Pee Wee Herman? It's an older movie. He's long gone, right? I don't know, but he's like working in a hotel or something like that, and he does something, and his boss is like, "Tell him you're sorry," and he's like, "I'm sorry," and he goes, "I'm not sorry at all." That's how I feel all the time. I'm really sorry. I'm not sorry at all. That's why I have so much bad karma. Past, gone. Future, not yet arised. Not yet arised. That's a new word. You can put it in your lexicon now. Call me Shakespeare. It hasn't yet arisen. It hasn't come about. So we don't have to do anything about it, except not worry about it, not project into it. And that brings us to the present. Right? I don't know how or why I'm so zen, but I make the power of now seem like the power of then. I stole that, but it's pretty good. Sorry. Trying to make Dan laugh, but I can only make him grin. It's like, I'm not even smiling. It's sad. Come on, Dan. Just kidding. Just kidding. I'm not goofy mood tonight. In this moment, we have a choice, right? As soon as we arise in relationship to Ricky or Dan or the floor or our memories, and when we arise, then we can only like something, dislike it, or ignore it. There's only those options. But if we can back up one moment, one instant, just before we arise in our relationship to things, then we are outside of time. Past is gone, present has not yet arisen, and future never arises. So we've got a gap there. And that gap is like the door to immortality. Outside of time. In order to invite that, we make our mind very vast, just like the sky. Here in Colorado, the sky is very big, and it's mostly blue. And it can hold anything. Wherever you are, it's the same. Now, if you're in some place like Portland or Seattle or whatever, it's like the sky feels lower, but it's still, if you tune into the right idea about it, it can hold everything, all those clouds, all those mountains, all those birds. Normally our mind is just like whatever we're holding. Fall on top of your cool socks, and then everything else is gone. Mm-hmm. When we relax, wide open. As soon as we tune into that and we get one step, one moment back, just before we are in the picture, then we're really free. So when we meditate, that's what you're catching hold of, so to speak, right? Turning your attention toward the vastness. And you're backing up just like this far, just one tiny instant. In that moment, you feel this pull, right? Because we're so used to being in the picture. Feel this pull. That pull is like a kind of potential. And it feels good, possibility. Anything can happen right now. The way to expand our minds in a more lasting sense is yoga, right? This is a very subtle kind of yoga. It's like a psychic yoga, mental yoga. You kind of mentally dig, oh, the sky, the space, it's big. Anything can occur within it. Okay, my mind's like that. You kind of like conceptualize it, and then you kind of dig it. You can also have a direct experience a little bit, right? But it's very subtle kind of yoga. We can do physical yoga that will allow us to be right before we arise, right before we come up again with our habits and our patterns. So we're going to do that. But don't lose this. Stay right here. Very relaxed, but not sleepy. Very spacious, not letting your mind fall onto objects. Just keep right here. I'm a big fan of yoga. Do yoga every day, love it. Went to a yoga class today. Guy was kind of like excellent. At the end of the class, he said, we went to his class a few times. He said, when we were, getting ready to namaste each other, he said, remember, the physical part of yoga is only a small part of yoga. Well, that was a pretty cool thing to say. But because we're physical beings, we need that. So we'll do some Tibetan yoga that will help expand our minds and keep it expanded. Kind of like a rubber band. If you have a rubber band and you want it to be like bigger, you stretch it, but when you let go, it goes back. But if you keep stretching it and you turn it and you keep stretching it, it'll get stretched out a little bit. Right? Same thing here. We're going to stretch out our minds. Even if they're only a little bit bigger, it still gives us some breathing room. So first we'll clear out the stale breath. You guys know this one. Hands like this. Block off this nadi here. Just do what I do. Right arm out to the side. Block off the right nostril. Breathe in. Hand down. Left hand out. Block off the left. Out. In. Hold your breath. Right arm goes back out. Block off the right. Out. Hands down. In. Out. Extend your fingers. When we do this, you breathe out and extend your fingers, your hands are on your knees. It's just like you swept up all this dust in the room and then you swept it out. When there's a lot of dust in the air, you can't see clearly, right? There's like stuff in the air, right? It feels gross. If that's all taken out, it's very clear. Same thing here. The dust is your thoughts and your imaginations and your memories and your plans and your wishes and your hopes and all this garbaggio that we lug around all the time. We bring it like remember what's his name? Not I was going to call him dust ball. It wasn't dust ball. Dirt bag, not dust bag.
Pigpen.
Pigpen. Is it Pigpen? No, that's Grateful Dead.
From the Peanuts?
From the Peanuts.
Pigpen.
Oh, it was Pigpen. Maybe that's where the Grateful Dead guy got his name. Wasn't Pigpen one of the guys who died in death?
Yeah.
Thank you. Josh knows. Okay, so Pigpen comes in the room. What's it like? Everybody's seen that, right? Except maybe you know this. Anyway, it's a cartoon. And when he comes in, he's surrounded by dust. The thing is, we are all like that all the time. We bring our own crap to every interaction. Every interaction we come to. We got our own plans, we got our own hopes, we got our own things we're thinking about, right? We bring our own cloud. When you breathe out, when we do these exercises generally, but when you do just the breath clearing, you're clearing away that exact dust in the air of your mind. And things become very clear. Don't have to try to meditate. Don't try to meditate. Just relax. Because we're all here together, it's easy. So we'll do that again, and when we do it, when you breathe out, do not move. Do not do anything. See how it is when the air is clear, because it'll be cloudy really quick. Ready? Good. It's totally clear at first. No thoughts, no idea. And then a little bit, but it still feels okay. You can still stay in the meditative state when you still have this stuff happening. It's okay. But then an interesting dust particle comes and you go out and like it and stuff, and then you start this pattern. As soon as you start it, it just keeps going and it just rules you, right? So we're going to do some exercises. They open up these energy centers in your body, chakras. They cause the channels, the tsa and the nadi, to relax. And when they relax, then that energy that flows in that, the chi, prana, it becomes more relaxed and calm. And when that relaxes, then the essences, the sort of mind in our body, so to speak, becomes more spacious and relaxed. And that is, it corresponds directly with your mind being open. To do these exercises, we have to hold our breath. You hold it in a special way. You put your hands around your knees with this fist, and then you breathe out. Put your hands back like that, breathe in. And your breath is up here in your throat and chest, right? To bring it down, you swallow. You bring the energy down just below your navel, about this far below your navel. So if your finger's in your belly button, it's just below, right here. The hara, Japanese, the lower dantian, this pit of your stomach kind of thing. And then pull up a little bit from below. You're just like lifting up, like you don't want to leave a fart, right? Just a little bit of a pot, called the pot breathing. The pot breathing. Sorry. Cannot get even a laugh out of these guys. Pushing down a little, pulling up a little bit. Don't stick your belly out. That's a bad habit. Just pulling in your belly, down and up, just a little bit. So we'll practice that a few times. Breathe out, breathe in, swallow. Feel that energy right here. When you breathe out, just breathe out softly. We call this the vase breathing. Let's try it again. If you do this right, which means not too hard, not too soft, you have to practice a little bit. When you do it, your thoughts immediately go down. You might still have thoughts, but they can't really. They're like a bird with its leg tied to a perch. It just tries to fly, but it can't do it for a little bit while you're holding your breath. It's a very important and famous exercise. We hold our breath this way when we do these exercises. First exercise, so easy. We're going to hold our breath in that way. We're going to rotate our head. It's down and to the left first. And you make the biggest circles that you can. If your neck is hurting, you make small circles. If your neck is soft and easy, you make big circles. Whatever. Your neck might go. You do 5 of them. 5 of them going one way. I usually shut my eyes because you get a little dizzy. And then 5 going the other way. And then open your eyes, extend your fingers, breathe out of your nose, and just don't do anything. It's so simple. 5, 5, open your eyes and let go. Okay? Let's try it. Notice that spaciousness, that automatic spaciousness. These exercises are good for you because they're good for your physical body. They make your body loose and supple and soft. Because the goal of all yoga and the goal of any kind of exercise, as far as I'm concerned, not feel your body. I'm not trying to make it that your arm feels really good. That's like not your goal. Your goal is that your arm does not exist until you need it. Body does not exist. It's like space. It's like mist. And in that, that's also the secret of the immortal body, right? Mortal body is like light, very light. So light that you don't even feel you're lugging it around. Man knows. We're shooting for that. We're not shooting that our neck feels really good. That's not the goal. The goal is that you don't have a neck. You don't have a body. Your body is, you still can use it whenever you need to, but it's not giving you feedback. It's almost the entire feedback of the body is pain, like all the time. We shoot for having a pleasurable feedback loop, like when we make love or you get a massage, whatever. But most of the time, it's giving you like, if you feel your arm, you feel it because it hurts. Here, we're going to try to loosen that up. So it has that physical benefit to do the yoga. And it automatically forces that dusty air out, karmic air out. And as a result, you have this spacious awareness. Don't have to try to meditate. Let's do it again. Ready? Sometimes you do it really right. Like you'll get it, just hold your breath just long enough, do the exercise just soft enough, whatever. And when you let go, you don't have to breathe. The breath will go out and it just doesn't come back in for a little bit. This is really close to the mortal body. Don't even feel your own breathing. Just totally gone, body gone. We feel our body as one of our primary aspects of arising in the world, right? Me means my body and Dan's hat, my body and the notebook. I arise. And we're going right before that. And it's easier when you're not getting a lot of signals from your body. I'm over here. I'm your knee. Remember how you heard it when you were in high school? That's a feedback loop, right? Makes us real. We feel solid. We need to feel solid. We need to feel spacious. Good. Keep going. You're doing this. Have faith in it. I spent a lot of time in Tibet, Nepal, India with all these great masters, right? And when they're in their deal, you're like, wow, I could never be like that. But I can meditate like Joe Wagner. So you got to meditate like you. Don't worry about trying to meditate like some master from the past, whatever. Just do your best. Pema Chudron, doesn't she have a book called Start Where You Are? This is what we need to do. Start right our own edge. We know when we're doing it right for ourselves. That's enough. You'll find if you go to your edge, if you go to your utmost completely openness, your total relaxation, that will go further or deeper, however you want to say it. The more you practice, the more comfortable you get there. When we first started going to this gym by our house where we go to yoga, I didn't know the protocol. Is like, don't know exactly what we're supposed to do, and stuff you feel a little nervous, a little tight. But after you go a few times, you feel very comfortable. You don't have to even think about it. Say hi to the teacher. Hey, I've seen you. You did class yesterday. Cool. You go, you know how to set up your mat, all that stuff, right? Same thing here. The more you spend time in this state, the more comfortable you get there, the more relaxed you get there. The more relaxed you are, the more you want to do it because you feel good. Let's do that one more time. Ready? Becoming familiar, you develop trust. You develop trust in it. And what is that trust really in? It's in the real you, so to speak. Not your accomplishments and how you look and the car you have, whatever, your trip last year. Not that stuff, that thing that never changes. And again, we could say, this is also part of the immortality deal. Because what's the thing about an immortal? They don't change. They're not subject to impermanence the same way ordinary people like myself are. There's an aspect of us that is like that has a correspondence with that, an unchangingness. It's back here. Good. You feel the pull to go out into the world, to arise, to interact, right? There's nothing wrong with that. It's just right now we're training in not doing that. We're training in being open, like space. Obviously, that exercise for your throat chakra, it's also for the one on the top of your head, kind of opens up that. Now we do one for our heart. Right now, our hearts, I don't know about yours, but my heart is burdened. It's burdened by the difficulties of our world, by the challenges that my personal life faces and everybody else's life. My aunt, she died last week. I have to go to the funeral tomorrow. I'm sad. I love my aunt. My mom's sister, it's hard, right? Burdened. We hold that in our hearts. This exercise can loosen that. Doesn't mean we don't feel however we feel, but it's not as sticky. This one's got two parts. We hold the breath the same way. Expel the breath, nod your fist, breathe in, swallow, bring it down, get the pop going on. All right, get the pop. You're going to take your right hand, you're going to make circles like this above your head. Like throwing a lasso. Lasso? I call it a lasso. 5 of those. Then you're going to do 5 on the other side. At the end, you don't just go, it's not like I'm in the club, right? You want to kind of crack the whip like this. Okay? 5 of those. Then you're going to imagine this spot, you're going to rotate it in this plane. So you got a crayon come out of your heart, you got a piece of paper, and you're going to try to draw circles on that piece of paper. All right? First we go clockwise. As if we're looking at the clock, we do 5. Then we go counterclockwise. Make the biggest circles you can, right? If the biggest circles are like this, that's cool. But you mostly want to move your body as much as you can. 5 and 5, and then you're going to breathe out, and you're going to try to remember breathe out of this spot. All that heart congestion, heaviness, goes out into space and it just dissolves. Just dissolves. Breathe out, breathe in, swallow, make the pop. Right arm, 5 of these guys, 5 at the left, 5 circles. The rotational axis is this way. 5 of those, 5 of these. Extend your fingers, breathe out of this spot. See how much lighter you feel. Let's give it a try. Ready? Notice how your mind is spacious, your body ceases to exist on some level. Very nice. It reminds me, I was at a party. A friend of mine held a party in his backyard. This is maybe, it's close to 10 years ago now, but it made an impression on me. He was a very nice guy, a college sprinter, like an athlete, right? He was kind of a big guy, and he was older now, obviously, but he had been a runner in college, so you got to be pretty fit. Anyway, he introduced me to a friend of his who used to play for the Denver Broncos. Okay, I can't remember his name. You guys would know him. Beautiful black guy, a little bit taller than me. Maybe he was like 6'2", and clearly he must have been much bigger when he was playing. He had been retired for 7-8 years, something like that. I can't remember his name, but super cool dude. And I noticed immediately from being in his presence, not a big guy, but he was very different than how I feel my own body. He looked like he was made out of styrofoam, but covered with steel. The way he was so buoyant, and he was talking about stuff, and I was like, wow, when you were a professional athlete, what do you do these days to stay fit? He said, tennis. I like tennis. Skiing. I like skiing. I said, tennis. Are you good at tennis? He goes, oh yeah. When he said it, such incredible confidence, I asked him some questions. I said, when you were a kid, how early in your life did you know you were not like other people? He said, maybe in fourth grade. He said he was so much faster in running than everyone at school that it was like they were running through the water, kind of. It was kind of an interesting conversation. But what I remember about the incident was how beautifully light his body was. He was 100% muscle. He looked super fit, obviously, right? But it didn't look like dense and heavy. He looked so light, buoyant. He was like almost the way he stood, he was almost like bouncing up and down. He wasn't actually bouncing up and down, but the way that he moved, it was I'd never been around someone like that. Like you see it sometimes in martial arts people. Like if they do a lot of Tai Chi or something, Jampa has that a little bit. One of our friends, Jampa. Yeah, this is an old-time Tai Chi guy who knows everything about China, Chinese medicine, Tai Chi and stuff. He has a kind of buoyancy. He's in his late 70s now, mid-70s. But he's so buoyant. Same. This guy it was like a field around him. When we do these exercises, we have the opportunity to be like that, right? We haven't fully arisen. There's something fresh about it, about our experience of our bodies. And because our body and mind are so interrelated, that this same openness and sort of buoyancy, I like the word, also is in the mind. And when those come together, you really do feel like anything can happen. You feel this sense of possibility, potential. But you realize not when you start to meditate, but when you meditate, a lot for a while, is that you were carrying friggin' so much. And like this heavy backpack on everywhere you went. Backpack of your expectations, of all of your past failures. And I still meet people who say things like, high school, those are the best days of my life. I feel so bad for them, right? Today is the best day of my life. So, we have to try to get into our own experience. It's okay to put that backpack down. It's heavy. Sometimes it even contains our parents' stuff. What a bummer that is. You carry around also your parents' stuff. Give yourself a break. All right? Put that down. We are very used to carrying it, though. We don't feel comfortable without it. So don't be alarmed or surprised if you're wearing your backpack, you get this permission, you give yourself permission, I'm going to put it down, you put it down, and the next thing you know, you've got it back on. You're kind of like, what happened here? We are so comfortable with our stuff. It takes a while to let go of that. Right? Hear that sound? You know what that sound is? The sound of impermanence. The people involved in that incident that fire truck or whatever is going toward, those people 10 minutes ago, they did not expect this. They did not wake up this morning and be like, I wonder if we'll have a crisis. We'll have a crisis? Who's called 911 recently? We just don't do that, right? Impermanence. Got to get on it right now. So long as we're in our mortal form, so to speak, then we're totally subject to impermanence. This other thing, maybe not so. Don't know. Let's experiment. Let's see. Back to that dude, the football player. The way he said he was good at tennis, I bet he could not hit the ball by him. I mean, it was probably everywhere. Anyway, he If I had a choice of being in a car accident in my body or in his body, I would choose his body. He was much tougher, better, more whole. This body that we touch, so to speak, this body that's not totally formed, the body of meditation, the subtle body, whatever you want to call it, that's even better. It's really impervious to trouble. Not subject to impermanence in the same way. How beautiful. Now, right this instant, think, may all beings experience this. When we do that, we gain tremendous merit, right? When we get out of our own field, where the only people we care about are the people we love and ourselves. That's it. Just got to expand that too. Everything needs to be expanded. Don't be surprised if you have to buy bigger shoes. It happened to me. I don't know why. When I was a kid, fully grown adult kid, I wore like a size 9 shoe. Now I wear a size 10 shoe. I don't know what happened. Feet are getting bigger. It's true. It happened to you. It's weird. I don't know what it is. Feet are growing. Thank God it's not my ears. You sometimes meet these old guys that get these massive ears. They can't hear any better. But it is true. Something about you gets more expanded when you practice. You get lighter in your body. You get lighter in your mind, in your heart. There's a certain buoyancy that you can invite into your life by simply recognizing who you really are and giving yourself permission to occasionally put that backpack down. Let's do that one more time. Ready? This mind state, or whatever you want to call it, is less like a laser beam and more like if you had a special attachment for your little laser and it spread the light out everywhere. Chinese, they call their immortals Xian. Xian. The characteristics of the immortals, they say they have a jade body. It means unchanging, right? They're extremely light. What do they eat? Dew, right? Breakfast off dew. They don't even eat real food. They're very light. When we're on the meditation path, we're going up in a sense. We're abandoning. We're just like James and the Giant Peach, Roald Dahl. Okay. I'm dating myself here. I'd like to date myself. Anyway. James the Giant Peach, right? He's got the big peach, the balloons, right? If you cut off part of the peach, what direction, what's going to happen? Okay, you're in the peach, all right? You've got a chainsaw or a big machete, and you're cruising along. What's that?
I'm there.
Okay, good. Scott, I'm there. I'm following you. Now, you reach out the window with your big machete and you start to cut off pieces of the peach, okay? You're not harming yourself or anything. You're just cutting off pieces of the peach. What happens? Here's the peach. It's going like this. You make cobbler. There's Adam for you. I mean, what happens to the peach? The trajectory of the peach. It goes like this, right? Because it's getting lighter. It is time, no matter how old you are. You could be at the very end of your life. You could be in the middle. You could be very young if you're fortunate. It's good to meet these teachings when you're young. It's time to jettison some of your extra stuff. Because what happens is you don't go like this. You go like this. Even if you chop, 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 you still go like this because you're getting older. And your collection of crapola is getting larger. You just can't help it because we have experiences and our minds work that way. You can't help it. So you got to get in there with the machete, bro. If you need a machete, I recommend Cold Steel. They've been around a long time, and they make all these super cool machetes. I tell you, I have one. They make all these classic swords and knives from the history of the world, but in this cheap-ass machete style. And you can buy them like $30. They got one that's like a Gurkha kukri, you know, like the curved knives of Nepal. They got one like a short Japanese sword, wazashi, a long katana. They got all these different ones. Roman sword, all kinds of stuff. So cool. If you got chops and brush, you might as well do it in style. Cold Steel. You can get them on, I don't know, probably Amazon, definitely eBay. They have their own website. Ricky's probably got a machete. Do you have a machete?
Yeah, I think I still do.
He still does. I got a machete. Another one. An old one from my grandfather. My grandfather somehow it came into my hands. And where is it from? It's from Abercrombie and Fitch. Back when they were like supplying expeditions in Africa. I think that's cool. Anyway, we all need to put that backpack down. If it's better, if it's easier for you to think aggressive, chop it off, okay. Yeah. It's not so easy. Not so easy. You have to be willing. So have a little discussion with yourself, with your heart, right? We might be carrying stuff from our past, right? Another person or stuff from our, childhood, whatever. Imagine if you had to go around carrying a person. You look pretty strong, but that would be hard to carry Ricky around for a half hour. I don't think I can even lift him. All right? We do that with people from our past. We feel obligated. So have a little discussion with yourself. Be like, it's okay. I'm going to put you down right here. Don't worry, I'll never forget you. Give yourself a chance to see how it is. But remember, we can only do it right now. But it's more a process of putting it down, and letting go, and seeing, and then you automatically gather it back up because you just can't help it. All right? You're just used to it. It feels better. All right? Did you guys see the movie Amelie at French Film? It's a beautiful film. It made me cry. I thought that was awesome. You remember just torturing that guy? He's like a bad dude and he's causing problems for her friend. And she's torturing him by swapping stuff out in his apartment. And she changes out his slippers so they're like 2 sizes small. And he puts them on. He's like, the hell? And like, that's a great film. It's very lovely film. We should watch that. You've seen it, right? It's nice because you get to see all the places in Paris. the thing about that guy, what if he just kept wearing those sandals, his slippers, right? At first he'd be like, these are so small, it's so annoying. But then after a while he'd probably get used to it, right? That's what we do in our crazy lives. Get used to having, 1/3 of our mind be all thinking about this terrible stuff that happened. That is crazy. But we can't help it. There's a lot of terrible things to choose from, right? So meditation is about coming to this moment, because you have to start somewhere, and then backing up, or one instant before, and seeing how is that. Just space for it. Yoga, it's about making space in your body. And if it's good yoga, then it's also about making space in your mind. Right? And if you do it the right way, it can be about making space in your heart, too. Different teachers, different masters, they have different ways of expressing it, right? I have one teacher, he seems to be humongous. Awesome payload. They call him Awesome Payload because he's so excellent. You'd think he's got to be 7 feet tall. He's actually not 7 feet tall. He just has a huge presence. His deal is huge. You're in his space, you're like, whoa, he's like a big dude. Some teachers, their minds are so vast, you cannot have thoughts in their presence. You come in their presence, you better have written your questions down because you're just like, well, whatever. You probably met some people like that. There's this very spacious Tibet. Lamas in Tibet, some of them have this because Tibet, the sky is really huge, it's super high, so it's very clear, and there's something about that environment that just causes, and sometimes it's just, whoa, so much space. But maybe the most fun is not the word, the most moving is when their heart is really big. Dzogchen Rinpoche, he lives in Arizona, totally enlightened master. His heart is like this big. So you can find which one works for you, where you have the proclivity. We all need to have a spacious mind. We all need to have a spacious heart. But for some of us, having a spacious heart is easy. So let's work with that. And if you're lucky, then your mind, you will notice, or you will come to see that your mind is actually within your heart. We were in Michigan, Eddie and I, recently, and we watched the film version of The Little Prince, which I always enjoyed that book. Beautiful book, and the movie was nicely done. And in one part, the fox that he meets says, I will make you a present of a secret. Real seeing can only be done with the heart. Oh, that was very cool. Dzogchen Rinpoche, he's all love. He just loves everybody. He's evenly. It's weird. He loves everyone evenly. They made a movie about his life. It's called For the Benefit of All Beings, I think. Is that right? Beautiful film. He's a real bodhisattva, amazing being. And in one scene, he lives in a tiny cabin in Arizona where it's 1,000 degrees, no air conditioning. He just lives in this tiny house. There are other houses around. There's a temple and stuff. But his place is not this palatial mansion. It's this tiny little cabin. He has this tiny little bathroom. And just this tiny little pedestal sink, right? And they just show him he's brushing his teeth in there during one little section of the movie. And you almost want to cry. He brushes his teeth from his heart. Everyone should look at Dzogchen Rinpoche. He's alive right now. Everyone should watch videos. There's so much video on YouTube. So when we meditate, expand your mind. But that can be kind of clinical, kind of sci-fi a little bit. What does the guy say to Neo in the first Matrix? He does that. They're standing on the edge of that building and they're going to jump to another building, which is really far. And he says I know what it is. He goes, free your mind. There's something a little sci-fi about that, right? I like that movie though. That was fun. For us, expand the mind, expand the heart. Because the truth is, and I learned this from Dzogchen Rinpoche, you cannot expand your mind beyond a certain level without expanding your heart. You cannot, they're connected. A friend of mine is a translator for him, last story of the night, I think, in Europe. And he said, he translated for a lot of interviews. And some of the people were real meditators. They'd done a 3-year retreat or they've been sitting 30 years. They were real practitioners. And so they had, some experience. And my friend told me, Rinpoche said almost every time, he's like, it's all about bodhicitta, love, right? He's like, it's all about bodhicitta. You will not, they would come in with these technical questions. I'm doing the yogas and this is happening and stuff. And he said, it's all about bodhicitta. Expand your love and it'll work better. Your mind is connected to your heart. So if your heart is like a stone, your mind can only be so big, right? It's just no matter how hard you try. So dig it for all beings, right? The more you do it for all beings, the easier it is and the softer it is. That's pretty much time, isn't it? Got a couple minutes. If anyone online has a question, or anyone in here has a question, you're welcome.
In that context of the bodhicitta heart connection, they also consider the heart here and the mind here, right? Is that right?
The mind definitely here.
Yeah.
If they say where do you live, they most Asians will point to their heart. But I've never heard that their heart's in their head. Maybe it is, but it may be. I'm not sure how they culturally see it. But
it must not be that.
Yeah, I talk about it that way because we feel like it's here, right? Mm-hmm. But what it really is just your capacity for love. And if that's in your head, cool. If it's in your stomach, your liver, or wherever the Chinese doctors keep it, that's okay too. Good question. Yeah. Feel it wherever you feel it. You don't have to move it. I guess what I mean. You don't have to move it and be like, oh, Tibetans, they see it on the head, on my right ear. It's not important. You just think about how much you love whoever it is or whatever it is, your dog, right? You see your dog and you think, oh, and then just be in that spaciousness of that. So it's kind of you don't want it to be too dry, right? If it's too dry, it's kind of too sci-fi. That's okay. Anybody else? Okay. Does anybody need these prayers? Oh, sorry. Slightly short. My curling. I've been doing my curling practice.
You need something to sweep ahead of you.
I really do. That would have been cool. We're going to dedicate the merit. If you know the prayer we use, do it. If you don't know the prayer, just think, may whatever goodness has been created here, may all beings share in it. That's all you have to think. So let's let be. Home, home, home. By this merit may all attain omniscience, having defeated the enemy, wrongdoing, from the stormy waves of birth, old age, sickness, and death. From the ocean of samsara, may I free all beings. Good. That was good. Here's this. If you guys want it online, check it out. Probably scan it with your phone. This place costs thousands of dollars a month to rent, and we get it for free. I want to make donations, so I'm going to put that there. Thank you for coming. And thank you for coming and practicing and keeping it up at home and being excellent. I am grateful. Good. Getting it. Digging it. Digging it. Isn't it cool to dig? It's like I tell you, I've been everywhere and done everything. This is the best thing. One more chance. See you next week.
Sponsored by Cold Steel.
That would be awesome. That would be awesome. I'm calling them. Oh my gosh. That would be so nice. Bye.